I sneak underneath your nose, and my words will expose the darkness of the ghost. So feel the fire from below, and have my wings to grow. Cause these folks are slipping further down the sleeking icy slopes, and it ain't easy to cope. Seeing brothers slinging dope, they choking on their money, dodging bullets from their foes. It's like the ignorant to know the places they could go. They stuck in the ghettos as their friends in line and rows, and it's a little bit hard when you grew up in the yard with needles in the grass and children smoking hashes just to crash, boom, goodbye. You floating to the sky, your friends and family at your wake with tears in their eyes. Doesn't come with no surprise when you hanging with them guys. They got fire in their hearts and vengeance in their eyes. So it's easy to surmise a person's fallen rise when the fate of a ghetto soul is trenching on his lies. I sneak underneath your nose, and my words will expose the darkness of the ghost. Yeah, I'm a phantom on the scene. I sneak underneath your nose, and my words will expose the darkness of the ghost.
Copyright law is basically the same since 1976 when it went through a major change and introduced the idea of fair use. Now since then, with the digital age, there have been a couple other acts to help define, help interpret how it could be used in things like the classroom. So there's the Teach Act, which I believe was around 1998, double check that on me, but that sort of gave some guidelines of what could be used, how you could use it, what instances. You know, things like school districts have to set policies, they have to be training, all these things before they can do it. What types of things can be done, such as dramatic works can't be streamed, but non-dramatics may be. So operas can't be, but a symphony could, because a symphony is considered non-dramatic, but an opera, a music video is considered dramatic, and that has more protection then. So that was the Teach Act. And then there was also the Digital Millennium Copyright Act, or the DMCA, which a lot of people hear about. And that was supposed to clear up a lot of things. I think it confused some things more and introduced the idea of safe harbor as well.
My name is Farhad, and I'm an artist.
They came into my home when I was 6 years old, and they stole from us everything we owned. And I watched from the bus as they took my father's soul. They poked his eyes out with their jagged poles. And there was no consoling that horrible sight I'd seen. No end to my father's never-ending screams. Cause that scene, no matter how obscene, was etched into my mind like a reoccurring dream.
What's up, my name's Willie, and I'm an artist.
My name is Jason and I'm an artist.
I'm a creature, I eat. Trying to get me on your song, but I take that song over on that feature, man. I'm killing shit, y'all know. Gotta fail first for you grow. And advice is like a question to the answer we already know. And damn, I keep on smoking. I was supposed to quit like yesterday, but it's not how many breaths I took, but if I took your breath away.
Right now I have a blog that people can see my poetry on. Also I have some music files on SoundCloud, so those two, as well as I have some placed on my Facebook page, so social media as
Most
well.
of the music that I'm on, you can find on YouTube or SoundCloud, or snippets on Facebook from videos of shows. And I'm on some CDs too, and those CDs can be purchased through your standard CD purchase sites like Amazon, CD Baby, MP3 through iTunes.
YouTube, social media, that type of stuff is the best way.
To probably focus on YouTube and internet.
Okay. Well, I am familiar with some the latest copyright law. I mean, actually, it hasn't been changed since I think 1976. But I do know a little bit about it, not in detail. So
But I don't know much about it.
Okay.
I know the gist.
Okay.
But I don't know the actual
All right.
laws and everything.
Question. Because the stuff is there. You just have to dig into the websites. It's hidden under terms of use somewhere or permissions in tiny, tiny print. You see a link that says that. So those things are there. And I think it's part of education that we learn to look for those things before we use them and just do them. Within the original law back in 1976, it has a little thing for libraries. Where libraries, if you go to a library, you'll see the photocopiers, the scanners, the reserve desk all have these copyright statements because the law says if we do that, we can't get sued if one of our patrons violates copyright.
Okay.
And so it sort of grew out of that, and people started doing that. There's some arguments that some groups have that warning on their videos and movies that they've kind of misstating how things could be used and overstating them. There's a famous YouTube video of the opening of a 2007 Super Bowl that a law professor put up showing that, and it's been on and off and taken off and on as they battle over the fair use of that copyright statement clip, which is kind of funny. But anyway, yeah, I think it would be nice if people did that, but we're such a visual world and nobody wants to see those negative things on their opening webpage, so they bury those, and people need to be aware of. If you're going to use something from that site, just dig. It doesn't take long to dig it out. It takes a few minutes. You can find it and see what you can and can't do.
How long does the copyright last if I copyright my song?
Okay.
I'd like to know how to get a song copyrighted.
Okay.
To say this is mine.
Okay.
I can take it anywhere, and sell it like a product. So that's something I'd like to do. Another thing I want to know is why do people steal music? Why do they pirate it?
Well, I mean, it's good and bad because I've definitely accessed songs via those peer-to-peer sharing networks. However, like I said, if at one point I have a song that is worthy of copyright,
I don't think I would like it from that, perspective, from the actual producer perspective or the artist perspective, because at that point I would want to, start making money off of it if it's good enough.
Overall, it's probably a good thing for the art of music because it makes people create music just for the love of the music and not because they want to make a lot of money. If there was a lot of money in music, then you'd have a lot of musicians making music just because they want to make money and they wouldn't really care about the music because they just want the money. And then there'd be a bunch of really
That's
crappy
the
art
that's
out
the
there.
price of being an artist.
It
at
takes
this
away from,
particular time.
it definitely takes away from the revenue someone could get. But looking at the bad side, or the good side of the bad picture is that, they'll still be able to reach that music. If they found it, you need to just, I guess, figure out
So
how to
it'll-
make them buy it, but at least they got a chance to listen to it. I think it becomes a bigger problem when the artist is a lot bigger and they're losing lots of money, off of that side. Well, that's an interesting question. I actually had a person who had video recorded one of my poems from a slam poetry function that I was a part of, and he had asked me if he could post a video recording of one of my poems, and I was totally fine with that. My only thing is that there should be attribution, or there should be a citation that this is the actual person who created the work. So it's not a bad thing as long as there is credit
It's a
given.
nice gesture to record shows and put them on YouTube, but it's not always of the preference of the artist. I mean, that's just me. I'm just speaking for myself, but I assume there are a lot of other artists out there who have videos on YouTube of their shows that they would prefer them to not be on there.
It's a technology that allows a property owner or someone, a producer, to control access to their work. It can help them control usage and also protect distribution or secure their distribution where they're the only ones distributing it, not someone else. I think a common one of the first big in the news things was Sony, and I can't remember how many years ago this was, when people were still buying music CDs, and you could copy it, but you can only copy it 3 times. It was built into the CD.
Okay.
And I think iTunes has some similar limitations there as well. It's how many devices you can load it onto.
Yeah.
And so that's an example of a DRM, but it's something so you can be.
And I also want to know the different types of digital management that's out there and learn more about those. If one day I do have, work that I feel that is, worthy of copyright, then perhaps I would use DRM. However, I do know that DRM can be limiting, so I kind of have to weigh the benefits and whatnot.
Yeah, I mean, that could be a good thing. iTunes already does something like that, where if you buy something off of iTunes, it's, you can only burn it to like 7 CDs maximum or something, and you can only share it with, 5 other computers.
Absolutely a waste of time. As fast as somebody's come up with DRM, they've been doing it now since 1995, something like that.
About
Right.
10 or
I
so
can
years.
beat every digital rights management idea on my own, and I've done it. I did it. The first significant DRM I remember maybe 2000, 2001, and they were like, nobody's gonna beat this. And I hand beat it within 4 months.
You know, for protecting your music.
Okay.
You know, and the things that the hard work you put into making it. You know, but it seems like the way the industry is now that everyone uses, you know, a little bit of everyone's, you know, samples and sounds and things like that.
Affects the user's ability to sometimes access it,
Okay.
such as limitations. For instance, just earlier today we tried to purchase an ebook, and I was told no, that it's only for an individual purchase when one person can use it. So we can't buy it. So this is a book that would be great. It's a book for teaching at higher education level. So we wanted to make it available to our faculty. Well, because of DRM, if we bought it, we would buy one copy, and one professor could be able to use it, and that was it.
Okay.
Whereas we wanted to be able to buy a license access for multiple people to use and stuff like that. And so that's an example how it can hinder you and prevent you from doing that. Love Creative Commons. It's a great resource.
Okay.
And I believe Lawrence Lessig was one of the people behind it. Who's a great advocate for fair use and defending fair use in this country. So yeah, I recommend that regularly. I have a copyright web guide. I list that right up in the upper left corner. So everybody looks at the upper left side. I list it right up there so people can find it, and I refer people to it often. I prefer the term open rather than free,
Okay.
because nothing is free, and especially in the digital world. You know, someone had to create it. That means it took equipment. You know, this is being recorded with equipment that costs money. It has to be stored somewhere on a server. That server costs money. Somewhere there is a tech person who is paid to maintain that server. So it's not free.
Okay.
But I do wholly support open information and openly available resources, works, music, images, things like that. I do support that. I think that's really great. My big thing about free is it's free because we support it.
Okay.
I read an article recently that shows how over 70% of Google Scholar comes from libraries. So big part of that digital content that we all use freely or openly is paid for through our taxes and stuff like that, or grants or Kickstarter groups, things like that. And so I think it's important that we realize that, because we have to continue to support it. When we stop supporting it, only a few groups would putting this stuff out openly, which means they're controlling the information. And then I think we have problems if only certain groups are sending certain messages out. So I think it's a wonderful thing. We want to make sure we support it in all the ways possible.
I actually think open access to information is something that our society should move toward, because I mean, obviously everything is out there. So I do think that open access, so that people can access your stuff, is definitely a good idea. But I'm not. But that access should be free, because, like I said, I didn't say it before, but artists, you know, sometimes are trying to make a living of this. So if it's just free access, then they're not getting paid. They're maybe not feeding their family or whatnot. So open access is good, but free access maybe not so
I believe that as long as somebody doesn't fucking sit there and take some of my work while I'm working on it, right? If they think that they have open access to my work while I'm working on it, and it's not finished, you're damned.
Okay.
Right? But if I put it out there and you want to actually work with it, etc., That's my price. I'm trying to get my name out there. I'm trying to get other people's names out there, right? And what is the larger company actually for? The larger company is for getting the final product duplicated and put out in front of more people than I could do it myself. That's what the big companies are for.
Okay. Well, I mean, I think they should be available. There shouldn't be restrictions.
Okay.
Kind of like that. I feel like if you're gonna make it, it should be available for everyone, but you should still have some way to say that it's yours.
Okay.
You know?
Well, I think it's definitely important for artists, if they have a piece that is worthy of copyright, for them to copyright it. If they want, let's say if they want to make a living out of it, it's probably a good idea to copyright it. So I do think copyright is definitely important. If it's something that you're just trying to get out there and you don't really care how people use it, then obviously copyright is not right for you.
Yeah. I mean, it's a hard thing. I mean, I'd definitely like to, you know, be able to make a substantial living from what I do. But as an artist, you're constantly asking yourself the question of whether or not the work that you do is highly marketable or monetary.
I do. I think that if you're taking it serious and this is a career for yourself, then you should copyright it.
The Library of Congress has a great website on their site for copywriting their material and doing that, so I recommend